Hi, I'm Barb Pappy, and I'm speaking to you today in my role as the High Ability Coordinator. My purpose today is to provide you the High Ability Identification Update after CogAT testing. Now, my primary audience are for our K-5 teachers and related administrators, as well as our middle school counselors. But some teachers might have had nominations or appeals in other grades, and generally this is just an information video for anybody in the corporation to know what our process is for high ability and where we are in that process. So the first thing I want to do is review our identification funnel that I have here to see where we are in the process. So remember, we start with all students in K-5 are looked at for high ability identification, and they take we look at their winter or mid-year NWA scores. We also include nominations, transfer students that might not have qualified with their prior records, things like that. All those students are included. We then identify students who on the NWA that meet the 95 percentile rank, but if they don't, we have another chance for identification with the CogAT. The NWA is an achievement test. The CogAT is an ability test. So they measure two different things. So the students who take the CogAT are students who have borderline scores, any appeals, any possible high ability exits, and we also try to capture any transfer to students who are transferring to us second semester in K-5, our main identification grades. So this is where we are in our process. So let me share you the results of the CogAT. So in the CogAT we had 99 testers, and there were 6 possible outcomes. So one outcome where most kids fall are the do not qualify. We had 47 of those. You could qualify on CogAT, and we had 19 of those students. And we also had students who took CogAT who didn't qualify in CogAT, but they did qualify in at least one area on NWA. We were just giving them CogAT because on the other area because they might have been a nomination in that area or a borderline score in that area. We also, as a possible outcome for our 2 and 5 students who are currently identified high ability this school year, if they didn't have that 95 percentile rank on NWA or CogAT, there was a team and we looked at all the NWA scores that they have had, and we looked for a pattern of recent high achievement that would be scores within borderline, scores like usually 92 to 95. If they've had those scores recently in a few of their most recent NWA scores, as well as had a CogAT score that supported continued identification, we did keep those students identified. We do have some kiddos, 7 of them, that are watched specifically for math. These would have been our identified students already who, when we looked at their NWA scores, historically had kind of a mixed bag, or maybe their CogAT score really, all of these scores that we looked at here historically were kind of a mixed bag of scores. So we wanted to put them on watch for next year. And we did have 9 students who either had a change and or an exit from a high ability area, and that would have been specifically our grade 2 and 5 students. I kind of hinted already about some COVID considerations we took. So the first thing we did is normally students who take the CogAT borderline score is considered a 92 percentile rank to 94 percentile rank. So what we did this year is we looked at our NWA scores for all our kindergarten, 2nd grade, and 5th grade students, and we found our top 5%. And we included those students in our CogAT testing round. So in grade 2, it was lowered to the 88th percentile rank in math, and in grade 5, it was lowered to the 88th percentile rank in both math and language arts. So we increased the borderline scores this year for that reason, for the COVID reason. The other consideration we made for COVID environment is we really wanted to look at the exits that might have happened in grade 2 and 5 for students who were already identified. And we really wanted to look at their NWA scores historically to see how they had been performing, and also to cross-reference it with the CogAT score. And as long as there was evidence of high achievement in recent years, the last school year and a half, 2 years, we went ahead and we continued their high ability identification moving forward. And then we also then put some kids on watch if it was just kind of a mixed bag, some high, some low, all mixed in, and no pattern could be discerned. So we did want to, give some special consideration this year, knowing that it was an unusual school environment. You will get this information I've shared. It will be attached in an email if you're elementary staff or a middle school counselor. The other thing that you'll get are your own grade level results, your school results, and you're also going to get a copy of the master letters that were sent. Remember, there are 6 possible outcomes that you'll see on here, 6 possible outcomes, and each outcome has its own letter. So these are mailed on today's Wednesday. These are going to be mailed on Wednesday. We got done a little bit sooner than planned. And there's also going to be a letter that will be filed in the student cumes. So the next steps, let me tell you what's going to be happening next. What I need to do is compile the NWA results and the CogAT results into one high ability list for next school year. I'll share that list with the elementary, with all staff. Usually that happens at the end of April, beginning of May. And then what elementary teachers do is they use this list to place elementary students in high ability cluster groups. And the middle school and high school counselors use this list to cross-reference and double-check to make sure those high ability students are placed in an honors or advanced course per their identified area. And of course, all of us, I just included the mission. This is just one small step in fulfilling our mission of high levels of learning for all students. And I just wanted to clarify that sometimes, a student isn't going to qualify for high ability, but we know they're still a high achiever. And of course, we're going to use our differentiated materials and strategies and differentiate a learning environment for them like we always have. And we also know that sometimes there might be a high ability student who might be lower in a particular skill. And we all understand that we do that same process of identifying that area of need and remediating that area of need. So this is just one small thing that helps us in our overall PLC process of knowing our kids, knowing our data, and giving them what they need, whether they're high ability identified or not. So in closing, I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you do to support me in my process, the High Ability Program, and our students here at New Prairie. So thank you very much. Bye.